Hello. Um, Welcome to the last Student Council of Michaelmas term. I'm Manisha Farouk, Chair of Council, Queen's College, she, her. Before you begin speaking, make sure that you always say your name, college, pronouns. So the first thing on the agenda is minutes from the previous meeting. So are there any matters arising from the previous meeting? Seeing none, the minutes pass. And now we go on to, so we have a few motions below the line that I'd just like to point out. Selection of the RAG annual charities, regulation changes, Student Council ratifying the appointment of Charlie Slack as External Appeals Officer. On the slide, it's got the name of last year's External Appeals Officer, so just be aware of that, but it's Charlie Slack. And then finally, the ratification of divisional representatives. So are there any objections to any of those or anything that anybody wants to bring above the line? Seeing none, those pass. And now on to elections in council, if Alex Kumar-Diarra could.
Thank you, Chair, and may I say it's been an honour working with you as returning officer this term, and I'm sure I'm not the only one for whom this 7th week council is an emotional experience. Now, for returning officer, which is my position for next term, which is going to be very important because we have the annual elections. We have one candidate, which is Finn Conway, Balliol College. Would anyone like to see a hust? Seeing yes. Finn, please. Okay, so if you can just hust for a couple minutes.
All right, yeah. I'm Finn, he, him, Balliol College, third year. Yeah, this is basically what it says on the tin, to be honest. I've served on the elections committee, and we've made several rulings about the upcoming elections, so I'm already familiar with some of the differences from last year and some of the bylaws, etc. So I already know what's going to happen, and yeah, I'm willing to do the job. I don't know if anyone has any questions they wish to ask. Then go ahead.
Thank you, Finn. Yeah, any questions to the candidate? Seeing none, should we move to vote? Okay, so it's 1 for Finn Conway, 2 to reopen nominations. Anyone yet to vote? No. Okay, voting closing. Okay. Congratulations, Finn Conway. Okay. Now, for Chair of Council, we have one candidate. Would anyone like to see hust? Yes. Okay, where is the candidate? This gentleman. Is the candidate present? Okay, seeing no candidate, however, they have provided this, so can I read it out? Why should I be elected for this role? I would like to stand for the position of Chair of Council as 1, I have experience of organising and managing committees handling key decisions when I was working in Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship in the Government of India. 2, I also have a significant administrative experience under a structured system in the government. I've also run and handled projects with budgets of over $2 billion US. 3, I have been an active member of student community in my undergraduate university responsible for managing 2 societies and starting a new society. For I have tried to be a part of the college MCR by running the MCR elections as BAME rep as an effort to give back to the college community. I would like to be a part of the student council in order to give back to the community and also bring in perspectives of international students, graduate students, and students from ethnic minority.
That was so good, Alex.
Okay, I'm not the candidate. Please keep that in mind. Move to vote. Okay, 1 to vote for Gaurav Jain, 2 to reopen nominations. Is anyone yet to vote? Okay, vote closing now. Congratulations. Now for steering committee, we have 1 candidate, which is Grace Davis. Would anyone like to request a HUS? Okay, Grace, please. You have 2 minutes. You don't have to use it all.
Hello. So I want to stand for steering committee. I've been involved in student politics, although not in the SU yet, and I've enjoyed my time being involved in this. Specifically this term, I've been secretary of the Labour Club. I've particularly liked the constitutional aspect of that. So when motions happen, looking through to check that it will be able to adhere to the Constitution, I think that would be applicable to this position. I've also been involved in the Oxstew. I've been news editor for this term, so I have covered stories about the SU, and I would just like to be more involved. Thanks.
Any questions to Grace? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. Okay, 1 to vote for Grace Davis, 2 to reopen nominations. Anyone yet to vote? Okay, vote. We'll close vote. Okay. Congratulations, Grace. It's truly been an honor serving as your returning officer this term, Council, and I look forward to handing over to my successor, who I believe has already left the building. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So now moving on to elections in council. If the sabbatical, reports to council, I mean. We have apologies from Alison, VP Grads. So if the rest of the sabbatical.
Oh no, we've got gender split. I'm going to go.
Hi, Kat Walton, she, her, VP Women. So I've not been to 2 councils because I was ill and then I was away, but I sent apologies, so that's okay. Some stuff that I've done, I have been developing queer and consent workshops, and I did them at Wadham. I also went to Auschwitz on a trip on Monday with Ellie and Rosanna, where we learned about tackling anti-Semitism on campus, and there'll be a blog on the website about that also. I've also been working on a Trans 101 as part of one of the recommendations coming out of the Trans Report. What else have I been doing? Oh, I'm also helping out on Reclaim the Night, which is on the 25th, this Sunday, which is a big march for women and those identified as women, about us reclaiming the night and taking back our streets from violence. I've been painting a big mural today at the SU that went really well. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, thanks, bye.
Hi Council, my name's Ellie, I'm the Vice President for Welfare and Equal Opportunities. So what have I been getting up to in the last 2 weeks? Well, there's going to be a very exciting announcement about estranged students between Oxford and Cambridge in the coming weeks. So please look out for that, because there's some radical changes coming through. I've been working with Kat on new changes to the sexual violence disciplinary procedures, which is really, really exciting. Hopefully we'll have some really great results by the end of the year. classic, been talking about mental health again and again and again to senior leadership figures within the university, and I think we're finally getting somewhere. So really positive steps are being taken, and I'm really looking forward to next term.
Hi Council, I'm Joe Inwood, he, him, President. I've been working hard over the last couple of weeks on various things. One of them was the BAME leadership event, which was on Monday. That was a great success. Lucas was there as well, and Hannah, and many other students who were there. It was a great success and hopefully lead to future ones in years to come. I've also been working with Ellie on lobbying on mental health strategy, as always, but also talking to Common Room presidents about rent and planning action for next term on this, a coordinated weekly rent action group of interested students who are going to work together to try and stop rents increasing further. Really happy to answer any questions. I've also been talking to people who are interested in running for my job next year, because the elections are coming up really soon. So if you want to chat to me about that, I'd be really happy to go for a coffee and ask me any questions. Cheers.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucas Aloysad, he, him. I'm the Vice President for Access and Academic Affairs. Like the others, I'd like to say, if you're interested in running for my job next year, please do get in touch, because elections are early in February? Fourth week next term. In terms of what my job is, I've been working with the university on race and admissions. You might have seen an article that I published in The Guardian about that, and there's more going on under the surface. We've been tidying up, we've finished drafting the consultation on undergraduate access and education, and that'll be going around to your JCRs hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, so look out for that, and feedback what you think we should be focusing on, what our principles should be in approaching access work. We've also been helping out on the BME Access Conference, for example, and giving some support to student societies, for example, OSDC, which today launched their library accessibility report, so it's very exciting and lots of interesting stuff is going on. Do run for my job.
Hi everyone, hope you're all good. So busy few weeks for me. I've written a report to the Sustainability Steering Group about the great things that students have been up to. I wrote a report on ReggiePledge. We had twice the amount of students than last year, with around almost 1,700 students, and praising as one. What else have I been doing? Lots of committees, Sustainability Steering Group, Museums Board, Clubs Committee. Oh yeah, today I met with Uniparks because the SU is organising, I don't know how many people went or heard of Springtide 2 years ago. Maybe not many of you. Okay, so it's a festival that the SU organises for students but also for the local community. So we're doing that again this year, so I met with Uniparks today to start the ball rolling with that. I've also been rewriting our report to the local city plan, which the last point on the agenda I could do with a bit of a hand with. But basically, the local plan is a huge document, and it lays out some of the policies that the local council is going to be using up until 2036 to kind of guide the future of the city. Yeah, busy bee. Any questions to the sabbatical officers? Seeing okay, seeing none. Thank you. Thanks, Anisha. Okay, so now we move on to our only motion above the line, which is the campaigns review. You might find this is familiar from the last student council meeting. Because it involves a change to the bylaws, we need it to be passed at this meeting too to come into effect. So if Joe.
Thanks very much. Joe Inwood, he, him, Oxford SU. You've heard from me about this before. This is a really crucial bit of changes to our governance. It might not look that exciting, but what this means in practice is that come first week Hillary term, we will have new projects up and running, new campaigns, things that students want to work on across the university with SU funding, staff support, some legitimacy as they've been voted through student council, and kind of a big fuss made about them, which is not a very articulate way of saying that the proposed changes are going to make it much easier for students to get access to the SU and do cool stuff. Really happy to answer any questions. And also, if you're interested in setting up a project, if you've got an idea in mind, something you want to work on and use the SU as a platform to do that, get in touch with us. In particular, get in touch with the student engagement coordinators, Hannah and Josh. Their email address is studentengagement@oxfordsu.ox.ac.uk. Alternatively, if it's something in a particular SAB's remit area, just get in touch with the SAB and we can guide you through our governance, so you don't have to understand our bylaws back to front. We'll just make it happen. Cheers.
Any short factual questions? Long substantive questions? Any opposition? Seeing none, I think that passes NEMCON. So the final item is items for debate. And the item for debate is, what does the student body think about the current nightlife in the city of Oxford?
So basically, a lot of the things in the local plan are like pretty obvious on what the student view is. Chapter 7 is about Oxford as a vibrant city, and it talks about, it's kind of about the policies behind what buildings are used for. But at the moment, there isn't really anything in there about protecting nightlife as such. And I was wondering whether it was something that students saw as important, and whether it impacts the student experience, and whether it would do if there weren't any nightclubs in Oxford.
So I'm Kat Walton, VP Women, she, her, or they, them. I think it's really important that we do have nightclubs, mainly because, like, if we don't, it's not gonna, I think one of the things that the university thinks is that students will just stop going out, which is obviously, like, very stupid, because students will just find other places to go out, they'll have more parties, they'll probably have more parties in colleges, which will then make the university even more angry. So really it's a win. It's no win for the university. And also we need to remember that, like, a lot of the land where clubs are is owned by colleges, and colleges are shutting them down because of the reason they want students to study harder. But what's really bad is that we kind of forget that this is a city for the community as well, and the community likes going out to these clubs as well. It's not just students who go out, so it's kind of shit. I'm not allowed to swear. I'm so sorry. Crap. So yeah, in essence, the university shutting down clubs is really bad. Yeah, sorry, I'll move on now. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bethan, she, her, WUMCAM co-chair. Yeah, clubs are such an important part of the student experience, but also looking at the ones that are kind of shutting down or claiming to shut down, things like Plush, the only LGBTQ+ club in the city. Also the only, like, vaguely accessible one in the city. Also the only club that holds, so it holds one night a week, so one night a month, they hold a club night for people with severe learning difficulties. Carers are free, they don't serve alcohol, it is accessible on that night, it's an early night, but it's a chance for young people in the community, so not only students, to go out and to experience something that everyone else does and takes for granted. So there are so many things that are important about that, and a change of venue may make it inaccessible, which will then mean they can't really host that night in good conscience. There's also, you know, the cheaper clubs seem to be closing and so on. So yeah, it's very much one of those things that is going to definitely dampen the spirit of Oxford.
Hi, Stashik Welsh, University College, he, him. Just as a point of information more than anything else, I've been here for too many years. And over my time, it's obviously this is partly in reaction to the recent announcement of both Purple Turtle and Plush closing. But prior to that, I've seen many clubs close over a number of years now. Places like Carbon, Wahoo, Baby Love, Warehouse. This is not just a recent occurrence. This is a trend that's been going on over a number of years now.
That's really interesting, thank you. And I suppose this is kind of really important for me to, well, firstly for students within colleges that own the land so that they could effectively lobby, because it's clear that nightclubs are important, but also, like, this is a prime time for us to kind of get our views out to the local council so they're aware of what students want and what's important to students. Yeah. So I think someone else, there's a couple of hands.
Okay. Hi, Ellie, VP Welfare and Equal Ops, she, they. So firstly, I think spaces like Plush closing down, we see this on a national scale. LGBTQ spaces are closing down constantly due to gentrification, and it's a real shame because there is nowhere where you can feel part of a community then. Those spaces start to become fewer and far between, and sometimes people aren't comfortable going into spaces that are queer but not nightclubs. So for me, like, I went into Plush and it was quite good because, you know, there was no expectation. It was somewhere where I could really kind of explore a part of myself. And I think on a wider scale, nightclubs, you know, have that social element, and that is, you know, it's a part of a normal university experience. And to take that away, I think it would actually detract from Oxford. Oxford already has a reputation for not having a nightclub scene. Actually, we had a really good, like, an okay-ish one, like, a few years ago. But if we close more and more down, people are just gonna go, oh, Oxford. Like, the reputation is just gonna decrease in terms of, like, social life. Cool.
Sort of two things. The first one, Kenja, New College, she, her. The first thing is sort of, when it comes to all of the clubs in the centre of town that seem to be closing, like Purple Turtle and Cellar as well, and Plush, to me it seems like all that will be left is the Bullingdon and the O2, and to me that is such a, like, it creates such a class dimension to Oxford clubbing, because not everyone can afford 17 quid every Saturday night, so we need free clubs, we need cheap clubs, but also in terms of Cellar more specifically, I think that Oxford loses so much. For example, like, with the opening of Westgate, Oxford lost so much of its independent and interestingness, like the whole high street just died. And it seems like the city council needs to do more to protect what's unique and not just mass brand chains. Like things like Fever, you get them all over. But Cellar is an independent music venue, and the city council needs to make it a priority. Instead of making it feel like it's this constant witch hunt where they every year threaten to close it down, it seems like they're not working constructively with it.
Just as a point of information on that, the council very much heard that people were upset about the potential of Cellar closing. So the issue with Cellar is the fire regulations, and they can't do anything about that. But it's actually protected now as a music venue. So for, I don't know how long, but it's protected at the moment for it to only be a music venue, even though the restriction is only 50 people because of the fire regulations.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Anand Packer, St. John's College, he, him. I've got a few questions of clarification. So what is the public consultation process for the report?
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned, but who is producing the report? Is it the county or city council, or is there like a subset group of people or a combination of both? And then have there been any updates on what's happening with Plush or any of the other clubs that could feed into our decision?
Okay, cool. So it's the city council. It's been through the kind of opinion section. So the SU has already responded once. The university is responding separately, and the college is responding separately. I'm responding on behalf of the SU, on behalf of the students. But at the moment, it's kind of, there is a very solid draft plan. It's online, you can go and look at it, but it's very hefty, a little bit, probably a bit boring. And basically, at the moment, it's more oppositional. So we would kind of oppose the lack of something being in there. That's kind of, I'm going to be speaking to, sorry, rewind. It doesn't now, our response won't go back to the city, it will go back to an independent body that is reviewing the reports. And that's how it works. What was the last point that you said? Any updates on those clubs? No. I suppose it's one of those things that if you know that your college owns any land or has anything to do with, if there's rumours around the fact that they're going to close, come and speak to me and I will help you speak to your college. So if you're aware of any problems, never mind in regards to nightlife, but full stop, come and speak to me because I'll be able to help you with that. Sorry, that wasn't very helpful. Okay.
I just have an update on Plush just because I know the general manager who said that it isn't like imminently closing, and if it does, it's going to be moved very swiftly to another central location that is level access, and it will remain an LGBTQ club. I'm pretty sure that that's happening. So, but don't quote me on that. But that's what I've been told by him.
Great. Yeah, and just to add to that, in terms of relationships with the council, but also within the university, I'm in a really good position that I can get quite a lot of support in regards to responding to things like this. So do let me know if you hear any rumours about things closing that you think students will be bothered about. And were you going to say something else? Sorry. Were you going? Yeah.
I've heard stuff about Plush too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry.
Emily, she, her, St Hilda's. Two things. Firstly, I think it's dangerous if we have less clubs. If anyone goes to a park end or a bridge queue on Wednesday or Thursday, they are hell, they are dangerous, they are awful. Those clubs are not policed properly, and I would not be surprised if someone gets seriously injured in one of those clubs because we are shutting down spaces and the options are so limited. Also, I think to some extent, shutting down nightlife completely is a welfare issue. Like, some people don't actually have many, they don't want to get involved in Oxford student activities like clubs and things, not clubs, sorry, like clubs and societies or sports. And so actually having an outlet, because this place can be like hell at times, and actually having an outlet where you can actually have some fun and let go it's beneficial to their studies as well, because then people aren't having burnouts and people can actually keep going and push for get their essays in time to go out clubbing, which I've definitely done quite a few times. So yeah, no, it's really important across the board that we keep this opportunity open to everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think Lucas.
Hi, Lucas, he, him, VP ECAF. In terms of the next, the plan is in place for 15 years or whatever, or looks forward 15 years. In terms of that, I wonder if it might be worth proposing new nightclub areas in Oxford. In particular, I don't think anyone here is from Brookes University, but obviously the clubs in Central Oxford are quite far from Brookes, and a lot of students also live out in Cowden in East Oxford. It might be interesting to know, I don't believe there are any clubs beyond the Bullingdon on Cowley Road, or anywhere in East Oxford beyond Cowley Road. So it could be good to have an area of clubbing in East Oxford.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Joe, he, him. It might be worth, if people really feel strongly about this, contact your local councillor and sort of hold them to account, really. So if you're in Carfax or Holywell, we speak to the local councillors quite a lot sort of on behalf of the student voice. But if they also hear from you directly, just send them an email saying, what are you doing to stop the erosion of nightlife in the city of Oxford? And see what they say. Yeah.
In response to that, if anyone feels strongly about this or wants to chat to me a little bit more, just send me a message on Facebook. Thank you so much. That was really, really useful. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other business?
Hello, this is going to be really, really cheeky and probably isn't allowed, so if the chair tells me to stop, then just do it. But I've just had a thought that obviously council meets every fortnight, and so far this term we've had quite a few councils where there hasn't been a big agenda. Can I do a really cheeky, not at all allowed, show of hands? If there were fewer councils in a term, as in fewer than 4, would you be in favour of that? Okay, cool. We'll bear that in mind, and I think we're going to come back next term with some proposals. Thanks.
Any other business? Seeing none. Thank you for attending this meeting. It's been brilliant being your chair this term, and yeah, close the meeting now.